Before we start the video, I want to see if you guys can tell the difference between the Perfection Lumiere Velvet Original and the new Ultra Le Tint Velvet from Chanel. I've got one on one side of my face and the other on the other side of my face. I want you guys to guess. Hey everybody, it's Angie and welcome to Hot and Flashy. I'm so excited for today's video. As a lot of you know, Hot and Flashy Nation was rocked to its core about a month ago when rumors started flying that our beloved Holy Grail foundation, Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet, was in danger of being discontinued. And I've heard these rumors before for the last couple of years and they never turned out to be true, and I was hoping that this one would be the same. But sadly, when I went to look for it in stores, there was dwindling amounts, it was only available in a few shades, and then it disappeared. So then the rumors started trickling in that in fact it wasn't discontinued, it was just getting reformulated, and then the rumors changed to that it was just getting renamed and repackaged. So I've been anxiously awaiting for Chanel to drop the new foundation, and they've finally released it. So I hope you guys were able to put in your guesses down below in the comments based on the opening clip of which one you thought was Perfection Lumiere Velvet. This side is the original Holy Grail Perfection Lumiere Velvet, and this side is the new guy, Ultra Le Tint Velvet. Did you guess right? Did you guess wrong? Did you think they look the same? What do you think? Well, we're going to go in depth on these guys today. I'm going to show you all the differences between them to determine if this is as good as this. So let's get into it. The first and most obvious difference is the name. Chanel has brought this one in line with most of their newer foundations, which are all under the Ultra Le Tint umbrella, and now the Velvet is underneath that. Now looking at the packaging, the only main difference is that the new package has a matte cap. I've always loved the packaging on this because it's sleek, it's chic, it's portable. So I love it that the packaging has not really changed. It's the same size. You still get 1 ounce of foundation in here. It's the same price. It's still $50. All right, so let's take a look at the ingredients. We can figure out if this was reformulated to any significant extent. At the top of your screen is the ingredients list for the original, the Holy Grail, the Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet. Below that is the ingredient list for the new Ultra Le Tint Velvet. So looking at the ingredients, 99% of the ingredients have stayed the same. There is the same sunscreen in there in the same concentrations. The first 5 or 6 ingredients are all exactly the same. This does still contain alcohol, which I think some of us were hoping that that would be removed. The other thing that people were hoping would be left out of this formulation is the fragrance, and the fragrance is still in there. It has actually bumped up 1 notch from where it was before because the ingredient in front of it was moved down. Triethoxycapryl has moved lower. It was in 19th position. It's now in 29th position, which then bumps everything else up 1. So fragrance is up 1 from 20th position to 19th position. They switched out the ingredient propanediol dicaprylate for propylene glycol dicaprylate. And that's basically 2 different names for the same thing. That's a skin conditioning agent. Other than that, the ingredients are exactly the same. Now let's take a look and see if there's any difference in the consistency or the fluidity between them. One of the things that I love most about Perfection Lumiere Velvet is that it was so lightweight and so fluid, and that I could just apply it with my fingers and it never felt heavy or makeup-y or looked makeup-y on my skin. So I'm hoping that that will be the same with this guy. So first I'm dropping 2 drops of the original Perfection Lumiere Velvet. Then I'm dropping 2 drops of Ultra Le Tint Velvet side by side. And looking at those two, you can see that Ultra Le Tint kind of holds up a little bit more. It doesn't flatten out as much. It's a little bit taller. Now when I turn my hand to the side, you can see that the original Perfection Lumiere Velvet is definitely a little bit more runny. It's a little bit more liquidy. It's definitely running faster down my hand. I mean, neither of them are going to win the race against the hair. They're both kind of tortoises, but definitely the newer formulation is a little bit thicker. It's got a little bit more viscosity to it. These are both in the shade 30 Beige, so there really shouldn't be a color difference between the two, but there does seem to be a color difference. So let me bring in the swatches. As you can see, the original is a little bit warmer. It's a little bit more tanny or orangey. The new shade is a little bit cooler and not quite as dark. I think that once they're dried, they're closer to each other, but there's still a visible difference between the shades. All right, looking at the swatches up close, I feel like the finish is almost identical. The other difference is that the Perfection Lumiere Velvet was available in 9 shades, and now the Ultra Le Tint Velvet is available in 13 shades. So it's slightly more inclusive, but I wouldn't say that 13 is like, oh my god, they've got everybody covered. So for the new shades, they haven't added anything lighter. They've added a couple more rosé shades in between, and then they added 2 darker shades at the end. So now I'm wondering if the shade Beige 32 Rosé might be the same as what 30 used to be. So if you were wearing 30 and it was perfect for you, and you're concerned that the 30 beige in the new formula is going to be a little bit too cool on you, I would definitely check out or go get a sample of the 32 Rosé. But I definitely can wear this. I actually, looking at them side by side today, I feel like this one, even though it was warmer in the swatch, I feel like on my face it looks a little cooler and slightly grayer. I kind of like the look of this side better from a color standpoint. All right, so far we've seen that the name is different, the packaging is slightly different, the formulation is slightly different, the color's a little bit different, and the viscosity is different. What's most important is it different when it's on your face? Does it behave differently? Is it going to suddenly like wear off quickly or not be the foundation that I love? So let's go back to the first day that I put them on. I actually did them split face like I did today, except I swapped them. So I had the original Perfection Lumiere Velvet on this side of my face, and I had the new one on this side of my face. And the reason that I swapped them from then to today is because I felt like this one was a lot more luminous, but I thought that it might have something to do with my lighting in here. If it's not perfectly even, then it could make one side of my face look more luminous, and I was kind of feeling like that's what it was. So that's why today I put them on the opposite side, so I could do the same kind of up close looking for the luminosity, and we could see if it really is more luminous. So let's go back a few days to when I first put them on and wore them head to head. We'll go through the entire day, get a 10-hour wear test, sunshine test. First I put 3 drops of the original Perfection Lumiere Velvet out onto my hand. I started rubbing that onto my face with my fingers like I normally do. Then I added 1 more drop just to even up the forehead. Then I went ahead to the other side and put on the Ultra Le Tint Velvet using 4 drops of that as well. I didn't feel like I could feel a difference rubbing them in. I didn't feel like one spread farther than the other. I didn't feel like one gave me more coverage than the other. I didn't feel like one was more smoothing than the other. I was kind of feeling like they were pretty much identical. Okay, you guys, I literally cannot see or feel a difference between these two guys. The difference visually on them is that this one came out a little bit thicker, but that's because I just took this out of the fridge, so I think it's chilly right now. I feel like they both went on beautifully with my fingers, just like this one always does. This one went on beautifully with the fingers. There are no streaks, there are no marks. It is smoothing on my pores and my ripply textured skin. Looking at it up close, I felt like the new foundation was slightly more luminous than the old formulation, but I wasn't sure that that wasn't because of a difference in the lighting in the room. All right, I was feeling like the soft boxes were casting different intensities of light, where I was getting more bounce back off of this side, a little more luminousness off of this side. So I turned those 2 off, and they might have different bulbs in them, I'm not sure. So I just have the ring light on. That should be fairly equal. Keeping the lighting exactly equal, here is what the foundation looks like up close. All right, now for the horrible blinding sunshine. Yes, this is serious business, this figuring out if the Chanel is the same or not. All right, 4 hours in with the Chanel Perfection Lumiere Velvet, and I still can't tell the difference between the sides. All right, I've turned off the box lights so that I'm getting even lighting here so we can see if there's any difference between the two. At the 5-hour check-in, I was very, very happy to see that they were performing the same. There didn't seem to me to be any difference in how well it lasted, whether it got like shiny. It was just still being the perfect foundation for me. All right, you guys, 10 hours in with Chanel versus Chanel, Velvet versus Velvet. It doesn't change much during the day, and that's what I love about it. I know when I put it on and then I come back and look at myself later, I'm not scary looking. There's nothing crazy going on. I thought it looked the same. I thought it was wearing the same. It was giving me all the same, you know, great wear that I count on with the Perfection Lumiere Velvet, and so I was really, really happy with it. All right, so let's take a look at it up close today. We'll see if one side is more luminous than the other. It should be this side because that's the light with the brighter light bulbs in it. So remember, this side is Perfection Lumiere Velvet, the original. This side is the new one. Today this side is more luminous than this side, so that tells me that they're pretty much the same. It's not going to be like one is going to be like, oh, super glowy and dewy, and the other one's going to be like a satin velvet. I think they're both like a satin velvet. This is really, really good. I think it gave me the exact same wear, the exact same look, the exact same everything that I love so much about this. You can now get in this, and it has a few more shades available. So definitely crisis averted, ladies. Don't worry. If you love the Perfection Lumiere Velvet, I think that you will also love the Ultra Le Tint Velvet. This is definitely going to continue to be the Holy Grail foundation now that this is pretty much no longer available. You can just get this. It's just as good, every bit as good. This is every bit as Holy Grail for me, from the wear to the look to the ease of application, everything. It's perfection. It's too bad they took perfection out of the name because that's what it was for me, but now it's, you know, whatever, Ultra Le Tint Velvet. So that is the complete comparison review for today. If you found it helpful and informative, go ahead and give the video a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. As always, I thank you so much for your time and really appreciate your watching. So have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.